I do believe in a higher power that sustains and directs all of life. I'd really like to know how to tell where I'm going. I get life is a mystery, but it really feels like I should at least know that. I don't have a clue about all this woo-woo. I take life as it comes, living day by day. Evolution this, evolution that. What is it supposed to mean? Evolution from what to what? Okay, so I get the nodes, but with my chart, how am I supposed to make the leap? This is either a crazy joke, some cosmic joke, or there's really a big secret to working it all out. If the purpose of life is evolution, how do we know where we are on our evolutionary path? That can be answered in infinite ways because there are infinite paths. Whether we're talking about the outer planets in Western astrology, which mark the generational collective consciousness we are here to evolve through and contribute to, are the Sidereal 120-year Mahadasha that marks the influences and duration of each planet at specific times in our birth chart. Today we're going to talk about the basic and universal evolutionary path, Great Mother Father God's nodal dance along the path of the ecliptic. Every 18 months, the type of dance they do changes how the collective planetary soul progresses through the cosmic layers of our unique evolution. We experience this as an oppositional yin-yang ego-soul energy pulling us along with them. On an ego level, it feels like pulling because as soon as we get used to Virgo North Node, Pisces South Node, we are thrust into the energy of Leo North Node, Aquarius South Node. However, simultaneously, during that transit, the soul was traversing the path the ego was preparing to enter in Leo Aquarius. And with a quick step ball change into Cancer Capricorn, the soul or sidereal astrology supports and prepares us for yet another opportunity to learn the dance of ego-soul alignment. What is this present evolutionary opportunity? Began in May 2017 in Cancer Leo Rahu North Node opposing K2 South Node energies in Capricorn Aquarius. In this full moon video, you will see how this total lunar eclipse, mega full moon release, cleanse, and purification follows up on the shadow issues that emerged in your moon sign during the total solar eclipse, August 21st. It is the most personal lunar eclipse reading you will receive without a personal reading, which looks at your unique natal chart, nodes, and the lunar energies that govern important aspects of your evolution. How have you intuitively and emotionally approached this eclipse season thus far? For instance, immediately after the total solar eclipse, Great Mother told me to begin this channel. Although I didn't feel that I was ready, intuitively, I knew it was now or never. I had no idea how to incorporate such a commitment into my busy life coaching schedule. However, not only have the readings saved me countless hours corresponding with clients between sessions, I now realize this current nodal axis is my coaching specialty, Mama and Daddy Drama Trauma. And this dance is an invitation to us all to heal it. Mama Drama Trauma and Daddy Drama Trauma are planetary disorders. It is when a parent or both project unhealed aspects of themselves onto the child or children, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases when the parent or parents are unwilling, unable, or unavailable to heal, my coaching work supports individuals to live in loving detachment. For more information on that, go to greatmotherspeaks.info. Click the picture of me wearing an afro and the words Mama Drama Trauma on the homepage, where you will find where to book life coaching and a personal Great Mother Speaks reading online. The Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck used for these readings was channeled several years ago while praying for a more soulful approach to support my clients. Based on Dorothy's orphan narrative in the Wizard of Oz movie, Great Mother teaches us through the signs and symbols of chakras, the lunar cycles, and our God-Goddess identity, how to dance along the yellow brick road we are being guided to walk this lifetime. It is a path that teaches us to honor personal truth and the truth in our healing or ego-soul aligning process to lovingly express our highest truth at all times. At this full moon, January 31st, 2018, Total Lunar Eclipse moment, this is what they have to say to you. Well, hello, Leo, Virgo, moon sign people. Leo, sidereal soul sign, and Virgo with the Western ego, earth-centric, emotional moon sign. You are a dearly loved, never judged, condemned, or left alone divine child of the Great Mother, Father God. Welcome to your Total Lunar Eclipse, January 31st, full moon reading. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Well, it's full of cosmic supportive energy to assist all of us in our transformational aspects that have to do with where our soul is going this lifetime, where it has come from many lifetimes, and the evolutionary support that is here during this lunar eclipse. Now, it is a carryover, of course, from the total solar eclipse because it is during the same eclipse season, which lasts 18 months. It began in earnest in May. And so if you want a personal reading based on your unique North and South node, Rahu, Ketu, and the Sidereal, do click the links below, and also click the link to confirm what your Sidereal moon sign is so that you are watching videos that resonate most with you outside of a personal reading. What Great Mother is saying here to you, Leo, Virgo moon people, is that during the total solar eclipse, you were approaching that energetic period of the new moon. Solar eclipses happen during the new moon, and they bring up shadows for us to deal with on a collective conscious basis on the planet. And this was for you very telling as far as what you felt your purpose for being here is. Now, we talk a lot about purpose, and we hear a lot of people saying a lot of things about life purpose, and it has become the jargon of the day. And that's because, again, the soul energies that are working around us, we're actually moving from one celestial consciousness, Pisces, to the Aquarius age, and depending on the astrology that you're talking about, we're already in it too. We have another 250 years before we enter it. But regardless, there's such long periods of time that it's safe to say we are on the cusp of the Aquarian age, which is why this topic and this jargon of our time, life purpose, is on the order. The card that comes up for you for the total solar eclipse, that new moon period, is the Ankh card. And the Ankh card is a great father law card, the law of ego, form, and manifestation. At that time, this third quarter moon card double yin, single yang card is a card that represents you actually releasing things that no longer serve you. So you were already in a period of releasing what does not serve the purpose of your ego manifestation. Your soul Leo energy in the sidereal was in its first house with that sun, the sun that was eclipsed, the sun that the world stopped to watch. In Leo, in both the sidereal and the Western astrology, was the sun of 100 suns. It was very powerful because Leo is ruled by the sun. And the sidereal, that was your first house. Leo sun and Leo moon in the sidereal, very powerful. The moon was also in Leo in the Western. You had a lot of powerful solar personality, manifestation, purpose, energy going on. And so either you were very active in your life. This is a third quarter moon card, so it's half and half, great mother, great father energy. And so you were either very active in your life in terms of working with working with yourself, working on your own identity, becoming very clear about who you are to yourself and what you represent, what you want to be. Not what you want to be to the world, but just for you. You were really going through a very deep, this is double yin, so that's double receptivity. That's feminine energy. Single yin is heart loving energy, feminine energy, and double yin is taking that deeper into now being receptive to even more love, to even more messages. So you were receiving some intuitive downloads. And so that great mother half moon energy there was in Cancer Leo, Cancer in the sidereal and Leo in the Western. And so the sidereal Cancer was in the nakshatra Ashlesha, which is a very immature Cancer energy. It's quite turbulent and chaotic emotionally. It's very hypnotic in terms of its attachment to things. And for you, this half and half energy was about, really trying to balance what you were receiving on an intuitive level, which had to do with your identity. And it had to do with your identity in a way that was really wanting to be expressed, a great father energy, maturely, because the Leo sun was in the nakshatra Maha. Maha is a very evolved Leo energy. It's not the Leo energy that's attention seeking and childish. It's the Leo energy that's very paternal, a caregiver, very successful, dignified energy. It cares about its community. It uses its power to support individuals and to support the group. And so it was wanting to be expressed that way. You were wanting to manifest your enthusiasm in that way. But as you see, there is a third eye in this card, in the middle of the double yin. And so you were downloading that immature nakshatra energy from Ashlesha that was very conditional, that was very imbalanced in its ego perception of the world, with that Leo in the Western, which for you is all about 12th house energy. And so feeling maybe a little isolated while you were doing your revisions of your identity at that time. So it's a wonderful thing because the world did stop to watch that total solar eclipse. And so you do have a benchmark, a landmark in your imagination to go back to, kind of like, where were you when? Where were you during that time? And then go deeper beneath the surface, as we see here with the third eye and the law of ego form and manifestation. In your form, you were probably with a group of people watching the total solar eclipse, and maybe you were alone, it doesn't matter. But go deeper. And where were you emotionally? And if you can go deeper still, can you remember what you were intuitively downloading about yourself and your life at that time? Great Mother is saying that there was some internal struggle at that time. You were trying to be reborn. Of course, first house energy is the incarnation energy of the zodiac. First house being represented by Aries, which is what Uranus is in now in both the Sidereal and in the Western astrology. And so that also was working with you in terms of your identity, and Aries being for you, you know, Virgo moon people, a 8th house power for you. And so when you talk about the 8th house and your identity and who you are to yourself and how you want to be within yourself, you were undergoing a rebirthing process all of 2017. You know, we don't have to die to be reborn. The Christ consciousness taught us that. We can be reborn within a lifetime, and for you, that's what was happening during the total solar eclipse. Maybe you were feeling a little isolated at that time because you weren't quite sure what was going on. Maybe you were feeling like this light being blotted out was maybe something, you know, that was foretelling for you, but you weren't quite sure what it was telling, but you were trying to download the meaning. And so the double yin, single yang means that there's some action to follow up to this intuition. And so since that time, of course, we've had the new moon, total solar eclipse, and now we are completely moving toward the full moon total lunar eclipse. Watch the lunar totality video to get the details as I go through what has happened since then to this full moon total lunar eclipse. But immediately after that eclipse, we went into natural disasters, hurricanes represented by the incarnated form of Great Mother Energy and Gaia, very upset as it was imbibing a lot of this immature Cancer energy, this conditional love, this love based on drama, and I have to get this to get that, and what I want is what I want. But you weren't so much involved in that. You probably have felt some of the ramifications of it simply because we aren't in all reality isolated. No matter how far away we are from people, whether we are imprisoned or hospitalized, we are affected by the collective consciousness. But it wasn't so much about that for you, because I'm seeing here that Great Mother's saying the transformative opportunity for you, Leo, Virgo, moon people, is self-mothering. And so this full moon card in the root chakra is saying that something has made you feel ungrounded. Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck is based on the 49 scenes of the Wizard of Oz, and this is a scene when Toto has been taken by Miss Gulch and Dorothy is soothing herself in her room. And so the transformative opportunity for you, Leo, Virgo, moon people, is to soothe yourself, to reground yourself from this feeling of isolation that you had during that total solar eclipse. There was something about that particular time that just really made you feel like, you know, you were alone. You knew there was something that you were supposed to be getting out of it, but you weren't sure. And now that it has come to full moon, Great Mother is saying that you've gone through a process. You've gone through, this is third quarter moon, and so a whole nother full moon cycles. There have been 5 of them, almost 6 of them now since then. And in that process, there have been not only hurricanes, but there have been issues of sexual abuse. There have been issues of scams. Oh my gosh, scams going rampant all around the place. There have been issues of child neglect and abuse due to opiate addiction. So addictions, pain avoidance, scams, poverty consciousness, natural disasters, the emotional imbalance of the planet. All of these are rooted in the home. And when we do not receive the proper nurturing, or we have an immature mother, or we experience mama drama trauma, whether individually, personally, or because we are affected by the collective consciousness through this disease, we have to learn to self-mother, because we're not going to get it from this Ashlesha energy. It's not available. And so it hasn't been available since this time. And so there's been that isolation about it. However, the sun now during the total lunar eclipse is in Capricorn Aquarius, your 7th house. Okay, so you are, your 6th house, Leo, Virgo, Moon people. So 6th house energy for you has to deal with a transformative opportunity with regard to your health, your occupation. So maybe as a result of a lot of this self-evaluation that had been going on, that there have been some new lifestyle priorities that you've developed to take care of yourself. And Great Mother is encouraging you to continue with that this full moon is going to purge anything that doesn't support your new lifestyle, for example, that's a little bit more healthy, that will help you express your physicality, your mind in more clear ways. Great Mother offers us clarity, balance, and confirmation. And she's coming through and she's saying that this 6th house energy may have to do with your work, actually how you are seeing yourself in your work environment, and maybe not depending on other people so much to ground you, or even for a job to be your security, but for you to use the energy of this total lunar eclipse to really, really get in touch with what your downloads have been about the purpose of your ego form and manifestation since that total solar eclipse, because you have a lot of support in your 6th house. And your 6th house is also, work-life balance. And so you've gotten a lot of insights during the full moon cycles since that time, and new moon cycles, that have shown you. I would encourage you to look at the new moon video, I would say the 1st of September or so, right after that eclipse, to see kind of where you were, revisit where you were. And it might refresh your memory. Because what Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook is that in this process, it's very important that you are self-compassionate. Give yourself a break. You've been doing a lot of internal work. That's hard stuff. Don't overlook the fact that this moon is also in your 12th house. And so the moon is in Cancer Leo, but it's in a higher vibration of Cancer, which is a more nurturing, dependable, caregiving, loving aspect of Cancer. And so it's going to allow you to be more self-compassionate. It's going to support you in being more self-supportive and self-understanding. This is heart chakra energy. Great Mother does not want you to overlook that, even though you have 12th house influences around you feeling isolated. Remember, the 12th house is the last house before the first. And so you have 12th first house energy going on here with this eclipse season. And it's going to continue throughout this 18-month season in order to cleanse the prior cycle through the houses 1 through 12 that you've already gone through on a soul level. And so you're at the precipice here, Leo, Virgo, Moon people, and Great Mother is saying that's major. That's major. Be kind to yourself. You're doing a lot of internal work, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, on an ego level, on an emotional level. On a soul level, you do have a more mature Cancer energy that has a divine knowledge of where you are, exactly where you are in this process. And don't worry about being exploited and being used and that sort of thing. Work with this energy so that you become a little bit more self-protective. Because the more you love yourself, what she's saying is that this energy is going to help you develop trust in yourself. Okay, when others cannot care for us, and we have a Leo moon here in the West, and so this is conjunct Sirius, which in the Western astrology is all about I am woman, hear me roar, the independent woman, the modern single mother, and all of this, where we have shadow energy here. This is a crescent moon, and this is the scene in the movie when Dorothy meets the three along the yellow brick road, and she welcomes them along with her on her journey. It's about love. It's not about the colonized becoming the colonizer. That's not the identity that you seek. The identity that you seek is one of love and of compassion, because that's what it started off as. Okay? And so we are just working through the cycle to build the energy. Well, Great Mother says what may be preventing you from seeing this clearly as you could is that during this full moon, we have Demeter energy coming up in your gut chakra. Are you experiencing any gut chakra issues, Leo, Virgo moon people? Are you having any intestinal or bowel type issues right now? Because our intestines are a very good indicator of how we are processing our emotions. And so emotions around mother issues, caregiving issues, how we've been taught to love and take care of ourselves, how we've been taught to think of ourselves. Are we good people? Or are we bad? All that kind of stuff, which is not in alignment with your divinity, which is not in alignment with you not being judged or condemned, but just a spirit having a human experience, never seen as weak or as a victim. Where is that showing up for you? Because that's your shadow card. Accept your feelings. There is an illusion that's showing up for you in the form of calling you anything but a divine child of the Great Mother, Father, God, be it at work, be it in a health situation where you are assisting someone with their health, and your help is not appreciated or seen as what it really is, or something like that. Maybe caring too much about, whether other people will, accept you. Because this card is the scene when Glinda gives Dorothy the shoes. I'm not sure whether or not you can see that. And her little ruby red slippers are right there. And those symbolize our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. And the only reason we forget that when we come, as they say, beyond the veil, is because we're not taught it. Otherwise, we'd already know that, and we wouldn't need to constantly repeat these woo-woo affirmations. We'd already know it. We've already would have, easily and effortlessly received this information as innocent children and gone on about our business. But such is the illusion, and such is your shadow. Accept your gut feelings about something that is not supporting your self-mothering. Are there feelings that say you don't have time? Are there feelings that say that it takes too much effort for me to do a self-massage and get some sesame oil and warm it up so that I can just give myself a nice little lymph massage before I take a shower and just loosen up at night when it's cold? Accept your feelings, and your feelings might be that, heck yeah, I'm totally and utterly worth it. Again, this is 6th house energy, so you could be on either side of the health and occupational issue because of this 3rd quarter moon. Forgiveness and letting go. We don't know whether or not you've already forgiven and letting it go. That's why I'm talking about the personal readings, or that you are needing to let it go. Let's see. Your relationship to the shadow is that you are open to releasing it. You're open to doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. And so that would indicate that for a large majority of you, you are open to releasing it. And you have already done so in large part. But this is in your relationship to the shadow, because in this scene, after the three have asked Oz and Dorothy for her wish to go home, he said, "You must bring me back the broom." And the lion promptly jumps out of the window from the castle. He's so afraid. But he still goes on the journey. Where in your journey is there a shadow of fear that is an indicator, not a judgment? Self-compassion, not a judgment, but an indicator of your willingness to go forward with your self-mothering, to go forward with your new self-expression, as ambiguous as it may be. You're just beginning this ecliptical journey. We're 6 months in. It's an 18-month journey. Because remember, the opening of the heart is also the breaking of the heart. This is in the waning gibbous moon phase, which comes directly after the full moon. So during the total lunar eclipse is a great opportunity for you to release any feelings that are not in alignment with what you are ready to release, that does not support your divine expression. And your openness to this is going to facilitate it directly afterwards. Your shadow work is to work with the feeling of being alone. That 12th house energy is very strong with this Cancer Leo moon. And Great Mother is saying that you are not alone, but there is a law of divine order that says that the purpose of you feeling this way is so that in your Leo soul moon, again, check your sidereal at the links below, that you are able to peacefully integrate what you've learned from the previous evolutionary cycle through your 1st and your 11th houses. We have to be alone. How many times have we heard stories from people imprisoned or hospitalized or otherwise detained and alienated from the general population, in which they've undergone tremendous evolutionary growth spurts? They went in one way and they came out another. You know, they started to practice meditation, or, you know, they completely changed their lives, and then they began to help other people that were going the path that they were going before that 12th house experience. Well, that's what you're going through, Leo Virgo moon people. And Great Mother is cautioning you to be very self-compassionate and just accept your feelings. Stop judging yourself. There's no need for guilt or shame. You've come through a tremendous experience, and just allow yourself to be receptive to just feeling what those lessons have been without judgment. It's information to help you move forward on your evolutionary path. And part of your path is to do the shadow work now in your final 12th house of the orphan. This is the very first scene of the movie when Dorothy and Toto are chased off of Miss Gulch's property. And Dorothy picks up Toto promptly and asks him, "Are you okay? Are you okay, Toto?" Toto symbolizes Dorothy's intuition in this deck. Is your intuition okay? Leo moon energy in the 1st house in the sidereal. Is the soul identity okay? Is it receiving the compassion that it needs from the ego? It incarnated as you to assist it with this evolution. And so it's sorry if you're feeling alone and isolated, but it's asking for time with you. That's what Toto wanted with Dorothy all along. That's why he was always so ready to go. He didn't care as long as they were together. And that's the same with our intuition. One day, we're going to drop this physical body. And that's who we'll continue traveling along with. Our soul intuition. Intuition is how the soul communicates to the ego. Emotion is how the ego communicates to the soul. That is your shadow work. What Great Mother is saying you need to embody in order to do the shadow work is the Mayan goddess energy of Ishel, self-healing, fertility, self-creation. This is a 2nd chakra, waning gibbous moon card. Waxing gibbous. Oh, wow. Waxing is right before the full moon. So if you're watching this right before the total lunar eclipse, then Great Mother is offering you an opportunity to facilitate this shadow work through Ishel. The Ankh in this deck symbolizes the 2nd chakra. And so that is working with your desires, reevaluating, refining, revising, really what your values are in relationship to that identity that you are intuiting, that the soul is wanting to express through the law of ego, form, and manifestation through you. However, the need now is to self-mother during this full moon by accepting your feelings with compassion and allowing the lesson of the orphan, which through Mama Drama Trauma we say is the lesson of self-love and spiritual independence. That is what you're learning now in the 12th house on a soul level, so that you're learning in the first house on the soul level, and the 12th house emotionally, the ego is responding to that by 12th house energies that can be healed through self-creation. This is the scene in the film when Professor Marvel gives Dorothy a reading and sneaks inside of her picnic basket and gets this picture of her and Aunt Em and says, "There's a woman who misses you." And Dorothy feels so bad, guilt, which is self-judgment, that she drops everything, drops her journey with Toto and her intuition and goes back home. Now, there's nothing wrong with going back home, but Great Mother didn't let her. She took her up in a twister. Why? Because her true desire was to revise her situation. Her true desire was to create her own self. That was her true desire. And so what's going to facilitate your shadow work of self-love and spiritual independence, of releasing the judgments around feeling isolated, is the self-creative energy that we have here with this moon that's in the 12th house in Cancer Leo, which is a more evolved lunar energy. Yes, it's Leo conjunct Sirius in the Western, but on a soul level, it is in the Nakshatra Pusha, which is very loving and needs to be more self-protective. So perhaps if Dorothy was a little bit more self-protective, she wouldn't have succumbed to the opinion of someone else about her journey. These readings aren't about opinions about your journey. It's about what you resonate with. Great Mother is speaking to us all the time, and that's what she's saying to you through this reading. What have you been resonating with? Is this something that during this full moon coming up that you could benefit from celestial energies to support you to self-mother more? Are the energies that are coming up something that you could use in accepting your feelings in a non-judgmental way to free you up more, to be open to expressing why your soul came here? Is that something that you would be into? It's totally up to you. Because what she's saying here is that what's going to facilitate the shadow work to do that is for you to actually be in that place of acknowledging what you see, you see. Professor Marvel saw this picture one way, and Dorothy saw it another when she put it in her picnic basket. It was a momentum of love. Memento of love. It wasn't something that was meant for guilt. It was something that was meant for her to remember her with love. That's why she took it with her. And so what we make things mean is a big part of this planetary purge during this eclipse as well. And what you make things mean is very important right now, Leo, Virgo, Moon people, because you are on a soul level redefining and refining yourself during this eclipse season. Last but not least, the outcome of your shadow work is another full moon card. She's working with you. Oh my gosh. And she has you on the angular as well with this. So you have full moons going on, Leo, Virgo, Moon people. This is the full moon in the second chakra card, which is what happens right after this. Right after she's guilted into going home, Dorothy runs home and is faced with the twister and a locked gate at the farmhouse. It wasn't time for her to go back home. Her journey hadn't even begun. And so the outcome for you for doing this shadow work of self-creation and seeing life as you see it now, you've gone through the cycle of evolution. This is your unique collective cosmic calculus. Everybody hasn't gone through what you've gone through. You know you're in a process of integration. That's why you feel alone, because your soul needs to integrate everything that it's learned. And so the outcome of you working with these energies, Great Mother is saying that you will be able to activate your energy, your life energy, in ways that honor you. If you choose not to work with the energies this cycle, that's fine. We have another 12 months of Cancer North Node, Capricorn South, Rahu Ketu in the Sidereal, and Leo North, Aquarius South in the West. But if you choose to work with them this season, the prostitute for you will no longer be selling yourself out, as Dorothy found herself doing here, which is okay. Again, the cycle comes around. The twister took her up, and she wasn't able to sell herself out. When she truly came home, she came home whole. So it doesn't matter what path you take. This is just what's available to you with the energies that are harmoniously collaborating with your celestial collective consciousness. And the outcome of working with these energies is that you will not sell yourself out. You will be honored for who you are. The prostitute is a card that just cautions us about that. That's all. Prostitution is the oldest profession in the world because we are all prostitutes. We all give of ourselves because we come here abundantly capable and abundantly full, that we give of ourselves in order to sustain our physical material life in this realm. The only question is whether or not we're doing it in a way that honors us or we're doing it in a way that dishonors us. And the outcome of your shadow work will allow your desires to be purged of its lower energies and insecurities and to a higher expression through this full moon, Capricorn, Aquarius, in your 6th house, power of the moon in Cancer, Leo, to be honored, to be respected, because you have first honored and respected yourself. Thank you so much, Leo, Virgo, Moon people, for watching, subscribing, and liking as you see fit. But above all, and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too. As always, double check your moon sign at the links below, because in case it is the same in your sidereal as it is in your western, which happens 1/5 of the time, then you will also want to listen to your celestial collective consciousness sign before this.